Podium. All right, sir.
Okay. Thank you all for having us tonight. During the Bastrop fires, the Onion Creek floods, a hot water heater exploding, a home remodel, or perhaps an air conditioning going out in the heat of the summer, Austinites have turned to Type 2 rentals to help maintain a sense of home, a yard for their kids or their dog, and a place to keep a connection to their own neighborhood. There are numerous situations where Type 2 rentals are the only option for these families beyond an extended stay hotel. A small stock of short-term rentals are good for Austin neighborhoods. In the past few years, you've seen a picture painted of short-term rentals as nothing but magnets for rowdy college kids, dead set on rampaging through the streets and disrupting peace and tranquility of a neighborhood. And that's simply not the case with a vast majority of short-term rentals. Type 1 or 2 or 3 or any number of them. Of course, there have been issues, and we all agree on that, and we all want laws in place to keep these problems from reoccurring. And that's whether they're a short-term or a long-term or an owner-occupied property. What we have right now is a couple hundred STR Type 2s in the city of Austin, which, as we know, represents a small sliver of the housing stock. On top of that, we have a one-year moratorium in place today on any new Type 2 licenses. And on top of that, we have 22 new laws that were also passed along with the moratorium just 2 months ago. Theoretically, the moratorium was designed to give us all time to develop actual data to see where we're going to be in a year, to see if these new laws are working. At the last council discussion that I was at, I believe it was 2 months ago, there was not a single discussion on the dais about banning anything. However, when I showed up at the Planning Commission meeting the following week to follow the due process of this issue, we hear from the city attorney that council has directed us to discuss whether we should phase out Type 2 rentals in 2020 or 2022. And I was personally shocked to hear that. It's kind of like ordering a steak and then getting a slice of pizza. It's just not what we talked about. It's not what we agreed upon. When questioned behind the circumstances behind this vote, one council member simply shrugged her shoulders and said something along the lines of, well, that's just how it goes sometimes. And it felt like I was all of a sudden watching a scene from Making a Murderer. It just didn't add up. You have a chance tonight to vote this new ordinance down that's sitting in front of you tonight. Let's give this one-year moratorium a chance to work or not work, but we'll know in a year. And that's what we agreed to. Thank you. And with the rest of my time, I think I'm going to show a 2-minute video, and then that'll be it. Thank you.
Three children, our only grandchildren, don't have a house that's big enough for us to stay with them. We travel to visit them in summer every year because that's our only contact with our grandchildren. So it's obviously very important that we stay long enough, at least 3 weeks, to have some sort of meaningful contact with them. To stay any shorter is stupid when you come from such a long distance. And also it's quite heartbreaking to say goodbye to them too quickly. We've been going there now for 5 years, and the thought of not being able to do it each summer is very sad for us, because the apartment, the ATX house that we have rented, is a 1-bedroom, very, very spacious apartment with a big balcony, beautifully kept, provided with everything that we need for the children to even come and have a sleepover with us, because it's got a pull-out after van. Wonderful for all sorts of activities that we can do with the children while we're there. And also it's accessible because it's so central for us to get to see them every day, and to go to visits to museums and parks and bowling alleys and all the great things we do with them. But if we don't have that option, it would be just quite heartbreaking. So I really do send this heartfelt message in support of the retention of short-term rentals in not, and particularly, the Zilker Bay Nations from Trailside Drive. Please don't take it. Thanks.